Hello YouTube, I am Gaylord Nelson. This is my Poppy Top Guide. I'll be showing you guys some basic stuff while some advanced stuff, and it's all mixed in between, so please try to watch the whole video, and you'll definitely learn something new. Okay, just a little bit about me. I am currently a Grandmaster Poppy player. I primarily play top, but have played a lot of support, and honestly, I think support is probably your best role right now. As of season 14, I don't know, I think it's like late into the first split. Um, if you guys want a Poppy support guide, I can probably whip that up pretty quickly. Um, but yeah, I play everything Poppy, and if they pick Poppy or ban it, I just dodge. Okay, let's get into the champion identity. First off, let's just start off with the elephant in the room. She can completely negate certain champions and can be the sole reason why you um, pick her up. She's very good into J4. Completely negates J4, completely negates Camille in lane, and in team fights. Completely negates Talon. There's like so many champions that she can completely stop from even being a champion. That's one of the reasons why you should pick her. She's great at laning phase. There's really only like three bad matchups for her. That's Darius, Teemo, and Olaf. She has great side pressure. Um, because she can always just R when she's being ganked, and she actually does a lot of damage to towers if you go some damage and have any type of grubs on her. She's great at skirmishes for void grubs. She can make 2v2s into 2v1s, and if it's still a 2v2, she can hard chain CC you with her jungler. She's amazing at team fights. She's able to peel carries, and she's also very good at securing objectives by ulting away the jungler or ulting away the team from the jungler and securing the objective. Okay, Poppy runes. Grasp the Undying is just so good on her. You can use your passive shield to proc it, making your harassing with your passives that much better. Shield bash is really good. But you can also get demolished if you're feeling comfortable on your winning lane a lot with Poppy. Second wind is really good. You can also go bone plating into things like Jax and Riven, melee things that go all in. Revitalize. Um, I kind of always take that. It's just really good with the shield power and your graphs healing. Sorcery tree, mana flow band scorch. You're gonna be running this 90% of your games. You can also go inspiration with biscuits and time warp tonic. This is for when you're like struggling and you're not gonna get a lot of mana flow stacks off, so you want that extra mana secured. You can go double adaptive force. Right now, hailing health scaling is just so OP. I just take two into one adaptive. You have enough poke, and it just scales so well the double health runes. So now let's talk about Poppy's skill order. So you're gonna be maxing your Q into your E and W and obviously R when you can. There are some situations where you want to get W second and things like Riven or Urgot, where having that W early and securing your Q and passive autos can really give you a head. There's also situations where you want to get E seconds, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. This is more of like range matchups and cheese, and I really wouldn't recommend this if you're new at Poppy. This is kind of like really risky, and you kind of need to know your limits. There's also some situations in the third where you want to put some points into W. It's 2 points here, but sometimes you can even do a little bit more, maybe 3 points, and then maxing your E. This is things where they have a lot of dashes, and you're becoming more of a utility champion. You're grouping a lot. Okay, let's get into the build guide. I'm making this build guide for 1410, so basically split two. There could be something, that's super OP that probably takes a while for people to catch on and like, a wider player base to play before people figure it out. But look, these are the starting items, so this should be good no matter what. Um, Dorn's items are super OP, so let's just talk about that. You're gonna want to be either taking D Blade or D Shield. D Shield, you're gonna be want to taking 80% to 90% of your games, honestly. It's just so good on Poppy. It helps her sustain through the poke, and it gives her health early game. Yeah, but if you're completely manhandling someone and you know you're gonna be auto attacking a lot, um, uh, and just like auto attacking minions, because it doesn't give Omnivamp anymore. D Blade is pretty good if you want to push that early aggression. Um, Tier is very good into like battles of nutrition. The thing that comes to mind where I almost always build tier is into Garens. You know, they're gonna be sitting under tower, getting half their HP back, because their passive's OP, and they have no mana costs. So tier is really good to keep you in the lane and making sure you know they don't fully wave clear you, and then you know put you in a bad position in your wave. So tier is good for that. I think it's also good for like Gragas and stuff like that. Bambi's, I know they are recently buffing it because it's dog awful in the current patch. Nobody really builds it besides like Mundo or something. Um, I know they're giving it like more damage for more wave clear, I think, so it might be good again. Just keep an eye out. Best people to check is probably me. If I'm like streaming or something, or Gemini is probably gonna be pretty up to date to these types of things. There's a lot based on feel, so I mean, if you like the feel of Bambi's, go ahead. It's whatever. Um, but I think one item that's gonna be really OP is Black Cleaver, which I'll get into it. And so you just be building the two ruby crystals. So let's talk about boots. Tabbies are getting nerfed. I think it's a pretty decent amount. I think it's like 12% basic attack damage, or like basic attacks are being reduced by like to like 8 or something like that now. Um, this is I feel like it's gonna apply. I have like a standard rule of thumb that if I want to build like tabbies or boots early is if first I need the movement speed, but mostly importantly is if they have an 80 top laner and an 80 jungler, then I'd build tabbies first, or steel caps if you like to call them that. Um, I put a question mark there because you know boots are being changed up a lot. Swifties used to be very very good on her. I think now they're making it like a phage or something, so it doesn't remove slows anymore. So you kind of have to like see what's gonna be strong. I think it's gonna be like all across the board. If top laners are building a certain boot, then it's probably strong. Again, I'd wait a little bit more for the patch to come through before you know check me or Gemini or just the poppies and seeing what they're doing. I know like there's like a Baron boot recall thing, so maybe that's gonna be good. All right, let's talk about executioners. I like building this into mostly Aatrox. I feel like I find it like very good. Um, and you know Vladimir's, Warwick's, Gragas's, you know things that heal a lot. If they just heal a little bit, I'd try to find an excuse not to build it. Because it is going to delay you from your power spikes, and if there's only like one person that you're stopping the healing, it might be best just to build like armor, but sometimes it's just needed into like, you know, Aatrox and stuff like that, so it might just have to like swallow the pill and buy it. Alright, just want to give some more thoughts of like items and stuff like that. Obviously gonna be, if you're building Bambi, you're gonna want to be getting the Sunfire or Magic Resist item, and Winter just got buffed. It gives you like 150 extra health now for like literally free. So that might be good. Whenever you're building tier. I wouldn't like completely force it, but it might be good. Um, I'd keep an eye out whenever if they ever buff Sundered Sky or Eclipse, or if those items, you know, are getting a lot of presence, because Poppy is a very good user of those. Um, if Eclipse is good, Bambi's is very good because it counts as an attack towards your Eclipse. You know, Eclipse you need two attacks in order to proc the shield and damage. So that means if you have Bambis, you only need to Q them or E them, and then your Bambis will proc the second proc. I think this is going to be a very strong build. That's Black Cleaver and Overlords. Um, Black Cleaver just got buffed, and you apply it very well. Your Q applies Black Cleaver twice. Your E, if you stun them, it applies it twice. So Poppy stacks it really quickly. And yeah, I mean, and it gives you a lot of health. And if you get Black Cleaver or like tier Black Cleaver, Overlords, Finish Fimbulwinters, um, it might be a very very strong combination. Again, we'll find out when we have more player sample size, but keep that in mind. All right, we're almost done with builds here. I just want to give my 2 cents on items that I don't see a lot of Poppy players building, and I think are actually super super strong. So Jack Show, I do see a lot of Poppy players building it, but I think I would take this as like the Rabadons of tank items, where you only really want to build it when you're ahead, and you obviously are building it for magic and armor resist. So I want to just point out two examples in this next patch that are going to be really strong. These items are so cheap, 2,200. They're supposed to be support items. We all know support items are busted. So Zeke's is getting um magic resist instead of mana into it, so it's going to be way better for Poppy. And that's slow. When you cast an ultimate, it's going to be really nice. But if you're going to be joining more team fight oriented, and you're not splitting a lot, and you feel like you're going to get a lot of value from the shield from Locket, it can be very very good. Sometimes the enemy team overcommits and they think you can get a kill. If you use Locket, it can save them. It's also very cheap. Knight's Vow also if you're grouping a lot, or if you have like a carry that's very very strong. Your ADC got fed. Once in the blue moon. Um, don't be scared to buy Knight's Vow. It's a super OP item if you have a fed carry. Deadman's Play. I do see some poppies building this. Just want to explain that it's good there. I just want to put that out there. This is really good if they have a lot of slows. Can't really think of a lot of slows. I mean, maybe Nasus, but I feel like Nasus is slow so OP that it doesn't even matter. But like, like Senna's, the Hercule or like Anivia's or something like that. I mean, if you ever need a lot of slows, you're like dying, like, damn, I'm getting slowed a lot. That Immense Plate might be a good option. So her Q, she smashes the hammer in front of her, and it's gonna deal a percentage max health, and it can double if they stay on it. So it's one hit percent, and then the second hit percent. Just a quick thing. I'm just gonna explain how flash interaction works with her. So you can obviously Q flash, but just keep in mind that it's gonna go wherever your cursor is. So you can Q flash and hit this person behind you. But most of the time, you're gonna use it to finish off kills, but you can rearrange your Q if you mess up. So just as a rule of thumb, in laning phase, you're gonna want to be using your Q when they're going for last hits. Pretty simple. Most of the time, if they go for an auto attack trade back, they're gonna get hit by the second part of the Q, so they kind of have to just give you a Q for free. Just being careful of some lanes where your Q early game has a decent high cooldown of 8 seconds, so if you miss your Q, they do have an opportunity to like all in you. I'm thinking like Jax and stuff like that. And Garen, where they can get a really good trade off when your Q's off cooldown. So this is a crucial part about playing Poppy is using your Q to kite. This is very important in the Garen matchup, but a lot of matchups too. Um, I'm really just looking for Qs and using my passive to auto attack. Because if you get into Q, he's just gonna spin and run you down. So I'm queuing, and I tried to auto attack there and it didn't even work. But yeah, that's all you basically what you do, and then you get him super low, and then we get the kill here. Now, if you really look at my health here, if I would have auto attacked him like twice, he definitely would have killed me. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes you just want to Q and use your passive to auto attack and get that grasp proc, and just kind of like dance with them a little bit. This is a really important skill for any champion that you play, but it's especially good on Poppy because of your Q. Um, you can buffer, an ability while you're getting CC'd. So Poppy's Q has kind of like a wind up before you actually, damage goes through. So while you're being CC, you can channel it. So you'll have basically close to maximum DPS. You might be missing an auto attack, but you're being CC'd. This is the best case scenario for you. As you see in this clip, Renekton is going to be Wing me, and I'm going to be using my Q while I'm CC'd, so I still out damage him. Also a very good ability into things like Ornn, where he's like breathing his breath on you if you press his W, and you press Q because he's standing still during that situation. I'm trying to think of Other examples, Scion Q, he's gonna be channeling his Scion Q, gonna be dropping your Q, and sometimes he might get that stun off on you, but you are using your Q explosion, it's gonna basically winning the trade. So here it is. You see here, I Q while he stuns me, and I mean he still gets LTPS, obviously this is my friend, but yeah. Let's get into Poppy's most iconic ability, her W. First off, she has a passive. When she's below half HP, she gets bonus in magic and armor resist. Now, when she activates her W, she gets movement speed. But it also stops dashes like Renekton E or like RER. But it's very important to keep in mind she can only stop one dash per champion. The thing about Poppy's W is that it doesn't stop any flashes or any blinks like Kassadin R or Ezreal E. An important thing about your W to know is that some abilities are extremely telegraphed, like Orin E, where you can just react on it, but there are some other abilities that give you a hint of when they're going to use it. So an example that isn't being shown here is Lee Sin ward drop hop. He's going to place a ward when he's in a bad spot and just jump away. Um, in this example here, we're using Azir. He's going to place a soldier behind him when he's in a bad spot and E away. So if we see here, I'm looking for Azir really, and I ult him, get his soldier to pop, and then we kill him for a free kill.
Oh,
So I just want to go over something that I see a lot of poppies do wrong is not using their W to like run away. It's not something you have to use only for dashes. You can use it to get out of a bad situation, like a Trundle running you down, waiting for your abilities to come back up, and then using your combo. Um, just it's also important to know that you can use your W to like dodge key abilities, like Ezreal Qs or just any skill shot really. So I just want to share this clip. First of all, this clip is sick, but um, that when you can use your W to get to places faster, and those seconds can really matter instead of using your W for a perfect dash block or anything like that. So you see, my Hui is getting wrecked by this Orianna here. I just use my W to get there faster, and I get it just in time, so I can use my E and flash to save him. Just an interesting thing to know about Blast Cone interaction with Poppy W. If the enemy hits the Blast Cone, as you see here, they will get grounded. But if you hit the Blast Cone, then they won't get grounded. So a lot of times you're going to want to be playing a game with them and making sure that they hit the Blast Cone first and never hit the Blast Cone so you can get a free kill if you have your team with you or if you can get a wall stun. Alright, so we're getting into Poppy E. It's a pretty basic ability. You just charge at someone, and if you hit a wall, they get stunned. Now, something important to keep in mind is that Poppy's E is fixed, so if you're really close to them, it's still gonna push them a certain distance, while if you're really far away from them, it's gonna push them the same distance. It's just that you're traveling a longer distance, if that makes sense. One important thing to know about Poppy E is that whenever she E's, she's gonna instantly auto attack. So as you can see here, I just E him. Even though he flashes, my auto attack still goes through. Whenever you're trying to flash E someone, make sure you click on them and E. So whenever you get there on time, it'll instantly E on them. So as you can see here, I flash E, I click on them and then I flash. And I'm gonna give you guys another example of when I flash and then I E. It's a lot slower as you can see here. Instead of like this. Really quickly here, just remember that you can use your E on a minion to land your Q. This is really good for whenever you beat them level 2. Just remember it does take a little bit of mana since you're using both abilities. You're going to be using 105 mana. But I think it's really worth it. Like you see here in this clip, I got into half HP because I got the level 2 advantage. Important to note that you need to EQ right away because then you're gonna be auto attacking a minion, or you can just click somewhere else so the auto attack cancels. So one of my favorite things about Poppy is using your E on a minion or anything to dodge a key ability. This is very important in Jack's matchup. When you can just when using his counter strike, you can just Q him and E to like a minion and dodge his stun. In this example, we're gonna be using Set, which is also very important. You gotta dodge his big punch. So you see here, I see he's big punching, so I'm gonna E to a minion. And at this point, you basically won the trade and you just run him down. He ults me and I get a free flash too, so it becomes very, very worth. So using your E to escape ganks is pretty common. As you see here in this clip, I honestly didn't even know I was getting ganked by Volibear until it was too late. So I'm running away, I use my W so I don't get stunned by Pantheon, and I use my E on a minion to escape the gank. Now, we pick up 2 kills here, which is pretty crazy, but just even living and wasting the jungler's time is perfectly okay and super worth. So I'm gonna be going over when you want to start E. I usually do this into like range matchups where, or maybe you can even do it to champions that don't have a lot of sustain. I was going to get to Smolder Top when it was super cringe to do, and so what you do is you sit in this bush. I don't have it in this video because I like chopped it off wrong and I can't find the original recording anymore. But you sit in this bush and you pray for them to like sit up on this wall, and you just E them to the wall. So as you see here, I E him, I auto attack him, and I'm just running away. And now what I'm looking for here is waiting. I'm waiting for my E to come off cooldown and just doing it again. So you see my E comes off cooldown. I auto attack this minion so I get the shield so I can maximize the trade. I auto attack him, just walk him down, and then I walk into this bush to de-aggro my the minions, and so he can't auto attack me anymore. And basically his lane is over. We kill him, and we just keep repeating that. And using that E cheese to get such an advantage is crucial against range matchups. Let's get into Poppy's R. She has 2 versions. She can tap it for a knockup, which she uses for her combo. She can also use her R if she holds on to it to send them to the enemy nexus. They become untargetable, so you can't wombo it with like a Jinx rocket or something. She can ult multiple people. She can ult 5 people if she really wants to. Some 2 pretty important mechanics are you can R flash. You can also flash R tap. Now I think a very important mechanic is you can R B and send your ult to a 15-second cooldown instead of a 140-second cooldown. You can scare people off this way, or if you just like R and it's just not good, you can just press B to cancel it, and you really never have to fully commit to it, like a lot of champions do. Sometimes it's best not to use your E for a stun, but to use your E to clump up the enemy so you can get a multiple man knockup. As you see in the situation, I'm looking at Alistar to use my E so I can get a multiple man knockup. So before we get started on this next clip, just want to explain, I don't really have any clips for R-ing away the enemy team during team fights. It's something you're gonna have to get a feel for. It's different every single game, but there's 2 things that you need to pay attention to. Either you want to ult the carry away for the team fight, so they can't do anything, and you wipe the 4v5, or you want to ult away his team and you kill the carry. This usually depends on if the you know carry has a flash or something like that, or if he has like easy escapes. But I'm gonna be focusing about your R usage in lane here, and how to use your R to escape ganks. Um, First thing you want to know is if you are going to be visible throughout the whole time is if they used all CCs here. So this clip involves a Gragas and a Warwick. So there are 3 abilities. There's Gragas's E, and there's Gragas's R, and there's Warwick's ult, and there's Warwick's Fear. So as you see, I'm gonna wait them all out. I don't know I'm being ganked here. I'm trying to run away. He uses his E, he uses his fear, and he's 6, so I stun the Warwick so he can't ult, and I get a double man R to escape the gank. A huge mechanic for escaping ganks is going into the bush so they don't see you when you're casting your ultimate. So here, more 1v1s me when I'm full HP, so he kind of just ints. They could have just killed me solo, but I'm able to pick up this kill as his shield expires, and I just insta run to the bush. And Yi can't Q me because he has no vision, which allows me to escape and get my free R charge. So here's another one where I'm being ganked. I see they're pinging me that Hui is on his way here, and so I just run away, and I'm trying to look for a bush to go into because I know the second one is warded, so I go to the next bush. I press my R now. Just an important thing is that like, even if they know you're gonna R, it's best to go in the bush because they don't know when you're gonna R because you can hold on to your R for so long, and they can like predict it by like flashing and stuff like that and just react to it. So always go into a bush when you R for an escape gank. So this is one of the stylish tricks you could do on Poppy, and you're gonna want to get the timing down for your R, so it's not tapping, but it's pushing them away. The best way to do it is by looking at the keeper's verdict whenever you're loading this up, and it's gonna be like right at the S. Um, but again, it's based on feel, and you should be doing it off feel and not by looking at that. So once you do that and you learn that, you can do this trick. You're gonna the church like enemies are already gonna be pretty low in this situation. You're gonna want to R them. You're gonna W. You can stun them. It's pretty uncommon for this to work, and I wouldn't be doing this all the time. It's very risky. Sometimes you might have to use your flash. If they like land in this bush, you might have to ward if you like mess it up or something. The situation that I would recommend more is into like Kales is the matchup that I can think of the most, where this is super useful. Instead of going for like this play, what you do is you R them away, and you basically just proxy them. Um, this makes it so they're gonna want to fight you because they're gonna be missing out on this big wave that's, you know, accumulating, and you're gonna be proxying this next wave. And I mean, it's just top lane egos. They're gonna want to try to fight you for their wave. One thing you have to be really be worried for is the jungler, but again, it's not something that I would do constantly, and just trying to beating them in lane is the best way to do it. All right, let's talk about Poppy's passive. Whenever the ability's up, you will have to use it, and your next auto attack will be an arranged auto attack. It's gonna drop a shield, and if you pick it up, you get a shield, and if the enemy steps on it, you just can't pick up the shield anymore. Another thing to know is that if you last hit with it, you're gonna get the shield, and if you miss the last hit, so yeah, let's miss the last hit, you'll still pick up the shield anyways, as long as the shield is traveling. Okay, now let's talk about something very important about Poppy is that, let's say this person is like super low, you can buffer your auto attack range, your auto attack. You can just flash to secure. This will get you a lot of kills. Now let's talk about the shield in general. When you're in like in lane, you can like, let's get a better one here. So a lot of them are people are gonna just try to step on it, you know, when they know the Poppy matchup a little bit. A lot of people actually don't, but just in case, you can just Q it if you go for the shield break. Another thing you can do is if like the shield is in between like this, you can just E over it, and you'll pick it up while you're traveling. Another thing is, you know, you're gonna like that, and they're gonna try to like step on your shield. You can go for a stun, just say it stuns. Um, and yeah, like just use this in lane. It's very important. Another thing also is that let's say they're under tower here, and you know you're waiting for your grass pop. Sometimes it's better just like to not use it and use your Q to farm, and then use, you know, your auto attack to poke them under tower with the grass proc. Um, and yeah, I mean it's her passive is very good with her W passive. You know, during later in team fights, make sure you keep picking it up because um, those shields add up and they get really fucking thick. So, all right, let's talk about Poppy's combo. It's really easy. It's really hard to mess up. You just E auto attack Q, alt auto attack. Just want to point something out is that there's gonna be like a little stun thing. So just to make sure that you're using your R as late as possible. It's gonna be like a little line right below the health bar, right below the name, and then right below the health bar. Another thing to keep in mind is, look at what your team CC has and if they can follow you up. Sometimes, you don't need to use your R and you just might be, layering CC that's like and wasting a lot of time. So like for example, you're Eing and then your Jin lands a W. So you don't have to use your ult right away. You can just Q, auto attack, wait for the thing to run out and then ult. If you need more time, or maybe you'll just kill him there. I just want to talk about some power positions that Poppy has because I think it's very important in the lane. I do this all the time. Probably one of the ways I got to like diamond so quickly is this push right here is very important when the wave is like this. Ideally the wave is pushing towards you, but it's kind of hard to do in the practice tool. So I'm just but basically they're just gonna be scared of you since they know you're in this bush. They're gonna be like walking to this wall. You get a free wall stun, making you get a free rotation. You can pick up your shield to leave. That's a bad shield. You probably shouldn't pick it up, but you just run away. Sometimes they'll contest you and they'll like go close to you. Let's say they're like right here. You just Q them and go back in this bush. A lot of times you're gonna ward this. But the wave is either gonna be pushing to you, and if it's not pushing to you, like let's get in this position. Um, I just clear the wave, and obviously abandon that strategy, and then wait for that ward to clear. You'll know because you're gonna be the one pinging it because it's right in front of you. And ideally, this will get them low enough so you can dive them. Poppy's obviously a very good diver. Because if you land your E and you have kill threat, they're just dead. Nothing they can do about it. Also, right here, this is the same situation here. Is they're gonna be scared. They're gonna walk there. You just stun them, or they're gonna walk towards you. You just Q them, go back in the bush, make them use reward, and it's pretty good. Also, you can just auto attack them while you're in this bush. If they're far away with your passive. Abuse these bushes. I mean, it's so good. Another trick that I like to do is I like to peek my head out here. I'm farming. Peek my way here, and let's like the waves here, obviously. I go back in here, so I just do a little small peek, walk around, and then I get a free auto attack passive, or a Q, or an E stun. I don't know why it just works so much. You should try it out. It's so funny how it works. Yeah. Okay, that's it for the Poppy guide. Thank you guys so much for watching. The only thing that I wasn't able to include was team fighting. I mean, the video's already 35 minutes, guys, and I mean, I kind of just want to get something out there. It's pretty hard to find team fighting clips in solo queue. It's just one-sided. But I'm definitely gonna be coming out with a Poppy support guide if you guys want it, and that will include team fighting since support has a lot more team fighting. Since you're kind of just only there and you don't have the side wave. Um, but yeah, come check out my Twitch. It's Gaylord Nelson LOL. Should be streaming there a lot more. But if you guys have some questions, I can also answer them in the comment section below. Yeah, thanks for watching. It really means a lot. Thank you.